last week. Demo from Isham. What was it? Oh, yeah. It was a good one. Oh, I don't remember.
It was testing, adding the playwright testing.
There were two demos. Playwright. Oh, there was another one.
About resource management.
Resource, thank you. Resource.
At least someone is paying attention.
Resource descriptors are not resource management. Resource
manifest source. Resource manifest.
Source generators.
Source generator.
And talk about revenue for sponsors. Oh, Zoltan had something yesterday. I completely forgot. How was it? Link?
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that. I think it was pretty nice. A couple of people joined. We had a nice time with Zig, and there's quite a lot of people wanting to have a next session. So we actually have one scheduled also with Zig as a follow-up for next week. What I pasted in the chat, and we already have one sign up as a guest for the week after.
5/7/2024. Please. Then their programming is right. Do we have demos? Selected them.
I also would like to talk about the harvest.
Victoria, let's go.
Okay, so I have a really big news because today we signed a contract with the Orleans Hotel. So it's official that the Orchard Harvest Conference will take place in the Orleans Hotel. And with this, we can continue the organization and we can start the registration. I just wanted to say thank you for Mike because he was the one who found this opportunity for us. And again, I will mention the sponsorship opportunity. You can contact us at orchardharvest@lombiq.com and the contact@orchardcore.net email address. And that's it from me.
Should we make a GoFundMe for Mike?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Is it known in Europe, GoFundMe?
Well, we know about it, but we don't really use it because you know we have socialized healthcare.
Yeah, we healthcare. Yeah, people do that for healthcare, and also when something bad happened to them, or like someone insulted me online, please fund my health, whatever. Mental health. Yeah.
But no, Mike is not going to be either broke or super rich with this. So yeah, he's doing that as an in-kind contribution to the conference, of course. So thank you here as well, Mike. we discussed that, yeah, we want to get this even to 0. So the goal is not to make money on top of it. I mean, if we have more income, then we'll have more stuff. But of course, we don't really want to make a big loss either.
Okay. Okay. So the bits, the dollar harvest. Status. Where is my fork? Status option 1 should be quick. Benedek is back at it. Normalize image profile by hash. Yeah, there was a PR that Benedek revived and merged. Fix web download tests. We won't talk about it yet. And test here, fixing the test, use OC.Core.net. Use join, I use open. OC.Core, when was that? 4:30 here. So we have, I'm seeing too many things here. Let's make sure that thing. This one too, actually. We got remove redirect to index after update. Okay. We broke something and fixed it. Move user type to, oh yeah, we talked about it during the meeting, just fixing some dependencies. So we tried to prevent project references from a module to the other. And update OpenIddict, remove leftover issue matrix workflow. Okay. Did you remove that one, or is it just an update to that one?
I renamed this at one point, and there was a leftover with the old name, so it's still there.
Update Jint prevent AliasPart index from throwing null ref. I have so many null refs. Okay. Reduce allocations in ShellScopes. These arrays here, they are created, or lists, hash set or whatever, they are created on every ShellScope, so every request, and actually we don't need to because not every request has items before dispose, all these things. So now the system lazily on demand. Add a way to queue using shell context from setting display drivers. Tips that we talked. Oh, we talked about it. We merged it on Thursday, maybe. So there's a new service in town called CultureInfo.Manager. Not even sure we should have an interface. I'm sure if I mentioned that because we will implement a different implementation than this one, but it's there. Request release. Suspend release request in case a driver wants to start and one says nope. Actually, yes, do. This is pretty simple implementation. The idea is to defer the release shell context and not the request instead of when the first driver hits that. Use the net ForEachAsync implementation. Use the net ForEachAsync implementation. So Zoltan mentioned that we had a custom ForEachAsync doing these things, and then in .NET 8 actually there is a actually .NET 6 or .NET 8. At least it's in .NET 8, there is a ForEachAsync. So this is replacing, first it was replacing the ForEachAsync, and then inside this ForEachAsync, there is actually nothing async. So I changed to use parallel ForEach. or ForEachAsync when it was actually async. So Dan wants me to put back the async, even if it's not async. And I just thought about it the whole week. Like it prevented me from sleeping. Like,
Oh, sorry about that.
because I'm like, yeah, your argument is valid, but it's like, so the Sultan's argument is that even if it's not async, the call itself here, because it's async, this method, returns a task, could liberate the thread that is calling for each. Because here the thread calls for each, which will create as many threads as it wants, for instance, by the number of cores. So there is a configuration for each to use the number of cores, number of threads, but you can also limit it, or it will use partitions of threads, some weird complex behavior. But the thread that is calling that, while the n other threads are running, this thread will be waiting and will be used. If it was a wait, Sultan's suggestion was that if it's actually doing something that is awaiting, then it will be restored on the thread pool, because this one will run on the thread pool. And so that's liberating one thread, freeing one thread, even though maybe 8 others are already running to do the parallel. I asked the question to someone who said, no, that's unnecessary. And then I asked the question to some people even more clever, the best of the best in the .NET team. And they said, so there was a mixed set of results, but the best of the best said, looking at the implementation of ForEachAsync and what we're doing, well, let's use ForEachAsync because it can just be better. So if Sultan, you want to create a PR that puts back the ForEachAsync and return the complete task, that would be fine. You can take that. It's better.
All right. But in the meantime, you indeed changed the consumer methods to synchronous as well.
Yeah,
so that's why I was asking for an async one.
Yeah, because it wasn't async anymore, but yeah, we can put it back. It doesn't matter. It's always better to use ForEachAsync. However, maybe here we don't even want ForEachAsync or ForEach parallel, because what it's doing is like, it's not even very compute heavy thing, right? It's just manipulating lists. I'm not even sure it's better to do something in parallel. If you also want to remove parallel, that's totally fine. You can just do a loop and something. Or leave it this way.
Yeah, probably not too interesting. So this is the initialization method of extension manager. So it should run pretty much once per app start, so not even town start. Yeah, so it shouldn't matter too much. What's I think more interesting is that there are a lot of sync over async pieces here, because the ultimate consumers are synchronous, like created to the view engine, which is kind of, which I don't know whether it's actually an issue. It looks bad, but that's why we can't make.
Yeah, if it's on the startup path, we don't care. Even if there is a getaway to get result, it doesn't much matter, unless there are lots of requests on the startup that will happen. That's usually not the case. If we want to know if the parallel is better or not, we should benchmark. What's the startup time with parallel and what's the startup time without? If there isn't much difference, let's not do it parallel. Less resources used.
All right, that will be the first step.
Replace UpdateAsync by UpdateAsync with an enumerable to string, so there is one less method. Instead of having one with an enumerable and one string, now there is a string param string array, so it's just one. Yeah. And convert 19 to 20 because we decided that the next version will be 20. The remove unnecessary async code is because the parallel is now not async, and then I removed everything that was not async. Yep. Expose media text in GraphQL query, so new property media text is now available. CultureInfo.GetCultureInfo whenever it's possible. Yeah. Probably this one, yeah, it's a new one. It's probably better because this one will do some caching or can do some caching. Pretty sure it does some caching. We mentioned that by the past. CultureInfo, probably very new, maybe in the .NET 8. Well, maybe it was also implemented. Or, well, for targeting other frameworks. Oh, so it's available everywhere. And CultureInfo cached copy of the specified culture. So that's good. That's better.
Yeah, I was also looking into this file while reviewing it because I was curious, and indeed it makes sense. Small change, but can be impactful.
Yeah, it seems familiar, so we probably talked about it at some point. Oh, yeah, we mentioned that during the meeting, like there was this new method. Update this one, rpedu as a new contributor. Fix eagerly executed task in custom setting service. This one took almost 2 days for me to find. It's the same for Mike. I think the time we were following that also. What could be the issue? You could not set up a site with the blog recipe anymore using SQL Server because there were some concurrent accesses to the session. So the YesSQL will say thread safety, whatever. So there was an issue, which usually happens when we don't await a task because it will then be added to the thread pool and run in parallel. So different thread will run the task, and then 2 tasks will in parallel access the same session, and then be an issue. Could not find the culprit because all the code looked fine, and at some point with some debug magic in Visual Studio that showed the stack traces of the running tasks, this method here, getContentIteAsync, which is in this code here, was shown as the culprit. Get something like where is that? Something like this. GetContentIteAsync. I can't find it. It's somewhere here. This one. And nothing is wrong with this one. Async, await this type definition, and that doesn't have to be awaited, return results, so easy. But this one does a document load, which was the thing that we were seeing in the issue. And the problem is that at some point, so it's failed at some point. So we know that actually we should have done that. We should have just reverted the history and tried to find what commit broke the thing. And we would have found the issue because this code here before, this code here, you see the change, but here, this code was async await. This was the code before. And this, when you just do async await, well, async something like this, and you just return the task result with an await, you can remove async await. There is no issue with that. Just remove that, and that will be better most of the time. But then Visual Studio will say, oh, you can even remove the lambda, and then you remove the lambda because if you pass a lambda, you can remove it. But then you need to remove that because you need to pass a method group. If you do that, instead of having, well, actually, yeah, this one would work. So instead of having the lazy task that is initialized with a lambda, a thing, it will actually be initialized with a value if you remove that. And so it will evaluate the call, but because it's an async call, it will put it in the thread pool and use it, call it in parallel. And that was the issue. So here the lazy task was initialized whenever the class was instantiated automatically, and that was the issue. So either putting a lambda like this, or putting back the async await also, but it's not necessary. or passing the method name, which is called the method group. Like this, we fix the issue. And then the lazy, the call will only be evaluated when you do dot value and not just when it's created. And I even suggested the runtime team to add an analyzer to add a warning when you call a lazy with a value. So when you have if you look at the lazy source code,
Yeah, this was epic.
and you see here we have a lazy. You see the t value here. This is the one that was called after, and what we need is a func here. Because you pass a factory, the factory will be evaluated when you do that value. But because we pass a value, it's creating a lazy with the value already evaluated. And this one, I believe, should be a 1. If you do that, you should tell the compiler that you know what you're doing, because you definitely, almost 99% of the time, never want to have a lazy with an existing value. It's really a very rare case. So if we had a warning for that, then we would have found the issue. We usually want a func there. So but when it was found, the issue was obvious and fixed. So that was much better. Clean up migrations. So just better style. I'm not a fan of the body for the functions. When I see that, I'm not sure it's a function. If we just use it, probably search this down. And I will just update there. Xbox broken logo URLs. And I believe there is a task to verify that maybe later. Update trees publishing guide and move it to an issue template. Fix creating culture and localization set for contents created via Graph API. So when a localization part is created, the handler will generate a unique ID and get the current culture. Seems good. I'm looking at risks for when it is evaluated, like whenever we create any instance. No, it's just when handlers are there. This is the purpose. Creating, which might mean that if another process will then say, let's update it, this will be done for nothing, but I don't think there is a choice here. So include GraphQL API action, functional test, database structures, and reviews too.
Yeah, this would have caught that concurrency issue with YesSQL, by the way. So these tests were failing, and we didn't notice because we have never run them. They were manual. But now if you submit a review, so request changes or approved, then these will automatically run.
Okay, I thought we had it as a schedule.
No, it was just manual.
Yeah, because we could also run it like every night to be sure that nothing was broken during the day, and so it doesn't have to run on a pull request. That's good, but it means every commit will do the same thing, and it's the most time-consuming test.
Well, it's 4 minutes, so it's not a big big deal. About 4 minutes times 4 or 5 runners, but it only happens on reviews and not for every commit. Just when the review is submitted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I've seen that by past, but I always forget that there is good. YesSQL 5 updated. Mike released a new version without the beta. And the difference between 5 and 4 is the usage of t-syntax JSON by default. I'm saying it so it sticks in my brain. I forgot. Load flowpart and backpart resources by naming. Flowpart edit, that's the name here. Okay, so instead of having them in the views, we have a logical name for them, and the resource management will have them. So it's just defining a resource manifest for that. Okay. Okay, so it's defining a resource manifest. Which means you can also override it if you want. Redefine what this means. Update workflow type. It's just to pass the current transaction. If there is any.
Yeah, probably the pull request name is not too clear on that, but yeah, it was about the transaction. And this was an attempted fix for one curious SQL error we have seen with Mike on the workflows page. It turned out that, at least for us at Lombiq, this was fixed by a previous fix, and this is still good. But probably, Mike, for you, then there's something else as well.
No, I think for me, it's also fixed. I just, I updated dependencies now. That issue is gone too. I'm guessing it's not this. I don't think this fixed it though. I think this is just an extra.
Just better.
Yes, but yeah, I don't think what fixed it. I think was the removing that weight, which was done previously. So.
Oh, great. Then I could close that issue because that's something blocking 2.0.
Yeah, I think you can close it.
Obsolete mode. Enable thread safety check support. This is a new feature of YesSQL due to the thing that was causing thread safety issues. I would change YesSQL locally to detect these thread safety issues to try to stop the application when it was in that. And I made it an option in YesSQL. By default, it's disabled, but you can enable it. And then, so I think, so what did you do, Mike? You enabled it when?
I enabled it by default for all testing, yeah.
Okay, so during test, it's enabled, which means if someone, well, we have so many checks. Yeah, and I told you, you do that to try to create a PR that was doing
To
some
break
thread
it.
safety issue. Yeah, just to validate
Yeah.
to see if it's working. It worked for me when I tested it locally with the bug before. So
This isn't enabling it for functional tests, though, right?
What was that?
This isn't enabling it for functional tests, though, right?
No, not functional test. I think it's just integration tests because that requires you to open up and create a site on on like a SQL server, non-SQLite, because with SQLite, you're not going to encounter any issues.
But I think what Zoltan means is that makes sense. You should enable it on the functional tests, which are the ones that are setting up the database, setting up the site with different methodology. So this is what you did then, Mike. Where did you do that? Where is the default? True. Yeah. Yeah. When is that site started? No, this is yeah.
That's when we create the site setup. Yeah.
Okay. No, we should do that also with the functional test, and it's just as easy as adding the option in the JSON file, I believe. No, maybe we don't bind the configuration to JSON.
We don't. Yeah, we don't. We could add that, but we don't.
Yeah, probably we need to configure from the environment, so with an environment variable in the functional tests. Otherwise, we can't really pass any information
in the JSON file. If you bind the environment variable, you can bind. You bind the options to the configuration, and then the configuration has providers. One is the environment variable, but the app settings is also one. The command line is another one. So if it works with environment variable, it will work with JSON. It will work with the command line. You just need to bind.
Yeah. But I mean that when we run functional tests, due to how we run functional tests with Cypress and everything, I don't think we can easily override the app settings JSON, because then we would override it for everybody.
Okay. So command line or environment variable. Okay.
I'll open an issue about this.
And we need to bind the options then, and have some examples in the app settings JSON commented like we do everywhere. Good. Running function test. Cheese. Box. Odd numbers. Backport works. Oh, we did that.
Yeah, we inherit the one from Microsoft, and we just change the variables. So whatever they do, we'll just take their work.
What is that?
It runs on a schedule, and also whenever you created it. So if you comment with slash backport 2 and put the branch name, then we'll trigger it. But also if you don't trigger it right away, then we also have a time that it runs.
Show you an example. Pull request example. I was in the backport. Backport. So this PR was generated by the bot. Why is it actually? Maybe it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. But yeah, here you put something like that, slash backport and the branch and the bot. Arcade bot here. We create a new PR with the same changes, but targeting the other branch. So instead of doing that in GitHub command line, you can just do it from, well, in Git command line, you can now do it from Git directly in a command. Much easier. how many branches do we have to do that? Oh, if we want to backport, like if you do a fix and on main, and then we want to put it on a 1.8.3, that's what we do, correct?
Yes, if we took it into main and then want to ship it into like 1.8, then we can. Just
It'd be
now,
much
because
easier.
we're releasing 2, we can just take whatever we want from 2, backport it into 1.8.
Fixed an issue where picture profile expression could not be serialized. Oh yes, the get setting. Get setting or get init. Did we found something like someone found a way to do that automatically with an option?
Yeah, but that's when you're parsing, I think, directly when JSON.
Okay, so here get init would have been sufficient and probably better. Because if there was no server, it means you shouldn't be able to set, and now you can set. It's not a big issue, but it should just be init. Or maybe not, maybe it has to be set. So system text JSON can set a new collection, otherwise it will only be, that will be fine. Init will be fine. It will be able to add things. It won't be able to replace a collection. That will work too. Okay. Pluto and adding content item points documentation. Good ID. Or use OpenAPI on these endpoints, maybe. Just calling the .OpenAPI might be an option.
And what is that?
OpenAPI?
Yeah,
It's
the .OpenAPI, or what do you mean?
I mean, it's supported in .NET that when you define the endpoints, and I think we use minimal API, so this one, I think that's the one like updated. You can just do .OpenAPI, and then it will generate the documentation for endpoints when we go to the endpoint to these things, Swagger modules and others. It will just auto-describes itself with attributes. So you don't have to, you can document, but the API will self-document itself.
Oh, very nice.
I would have some examples, but I won't start. Yes, right now. And that's it. Options, comments, or demos. One, two, three. Sold. Awesome. Then that's now limiting. We can
I
go
just
watch.
have
Okay.
like a small, like a question, more like, if you look at this link that I'm sharing in the chat, you will see where we're morphing that shape, the navigation item or link over there. Is there a reason why we can't do that in the shape table? Because there's a shape table called navigation shapes.
But you can't do morphing in the shape table provider. You have to do it in the view. So when it's rendered, you just say no, render something else instead now. Because you have to change the type, you have to do all these things. So you can't do that from provider, I believe.
So the issue that I'm seeing in my project, and I can't reproduce it on the source, which is strange. But if I enable the search AI feature in my project, the icon for the search, so the search navigation search icon disappears. only if I enable the search AI. And I tried to put a file called like navigation text, dash search.id. I put that in my theme and it would not pick it up. And then if you look at the Azure Search AI feature module, it actually has that file in there. So I don't know why the icon is just disappearing. Like it's picking the wrong template somehow. So I'm not sure.
I'm wondering if you can actually do that, like put an alternate like this. Yes, so I think I see what you mean. Maybe the solution is to put the alternate itself here in the shape table provider. Because I don't think this line here, that the one that you highlighted, is used actually in this case. Because here we are saying it will first render, no, it's executing that, removing all the alternates, changing the type. So we are navigation item link, it's evaluating that. And then it says view type alternates. Oh, display async model. So it should find this template. That's what you say. And you say it doesn't find it.
Yeah, it doesn't find it. I'm thinking because this is called inside the navigation module.
It shouldn't matter because it's called display async. So this thing doesn't care. It says there is an alternate. Done. It should find, unless it finds something else, but it should not. You should render what is actually created here in the alternates. You can easily debug that when it's looking for the alternates in the shape bindings. And you will see all the alternates available for the shape when you debug the display async here. And you will find why it can't render that thing, because maybe this text is wrong. And then you will see why your template isn't used. That's probably that, like what you think is there and what you have in your file system is different. Maybe because of the underscore and double underscore, because
I mean, it's working. It's working. It's just it doesn't work only when we decide to enable the Azure AI feature module. And that's the strangest thing, because like we have the same template in the Elasticsearch, we have it in Lucent Search. All that is working perfectly fine. But the second we enable that Azure AI, it stops. And I'm thinking maybe because like the dependency order, like Azure starts with an A, Azure AI, which happens before, but I don't like it. It still doesn't make sense because the Azure AI module does have that template copied in there. So it doesn't matter which one it picks, is gonna kind of get the same content, but I don't know why, it's just not working. Really strange.
You have to debug or add some code that will dump all the alternates when you try to find this one. Model.id. What is ID here?
ID, it's the ID we provide when we initialize a menu. So like the ID in this case will be search. That's the term search.
Is it actually search or is it
It
search?
is, yes. It's a lowercase search. And the view name that we should create is this. This is the view. I just put it in the comment. There'll be navigation item text dash search.id.
Yeah, I will debug to be sure that it's actually looking for that. Maybe I broke it. I believe I did some changes recently around that for optimizing stuff. You remember the code you even told me like to change it because it was not correct or fast enough. Where I was splitting, yeah, I remember instead of splitting and recreating, like, oh, let's search for that, and then there was a loop. I was creating multiple, yeah, I'm caching the splits. I don't know if you remember.
But what's weird is that it works in the Orchard solution. But then when I add those references to my project, and then, you know, I
debug. Yeah, you have to debug to understand what's happening. If you can do it locally, you debug, you search when you look for the code, the one that looks for the database, and
by debugging it, you mean just like add like a temporary class, shape table.
Well,
that
if you can
looks for
Visual
that
Studio debug, if you can debug in Visual Studio, that's even better. Otherwise, add lots of logs when it's looking for the thing.
Yeah, I'll try to see what I can do. Maybe I'll take that navigation item link as well and just copy that into my template. And
you can even cheat and put a static value there just to see if it's fine without underscores and dashes and everything, like foobar, boom, and then it will break everything else, but maybe yeah, that's how I will try to understand those differences. Okay.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. See you on Thursday.
See you.